Is your son a laundress? Is your son a laundress?
Oğlunuz çamaşırcı mı?
Shouldn't they be night watchmen after 3 midnight? Shouldn't he be a night watchman after 3 midnight?
Gece yarısı 3'ten sonra gece bekçisi olması gerekmiyor mu?
Was our aunt an engineer? Our aunt engineers?
Teyzemiz mühendisleri.
2 months ago can't I be an actor? 2 months ago can't I be an actor?
2 ay önce oyuncu olamaz mıyım?
We are promoting next year. We are promoting next year.
Gelecek yıl teşvik ediyoruz.
I am not the annual captain. I am not the annual captain.
Ben yıllık kaptan değilim.
He did not become a shepherd 4 years ago. He did not become a shepherd 4 years ago.
4 yıl önce çobanlık yapmadı.
I could work. I succeeded.
Başarabildim.
Didn't he borrow sometimes? Sometimes they wanted to stay permanently.
Bazen kalıcı olarak kalmasını isterler mi?
You will become an economist. You will become an economist.
Ekonomist olacaksın.
His father is a hematologist. His father is a hematologist.
Babası hematolog.
Shouldn't we be stylists in 5 minutes? Shouldn't we be stylists in 5 minutes?
5 dakika sonra stilist olmamız gerekmiyor mu?
Does it always load? Does it always load?
Her zaman mı yüklüyor?
She's a blogger soon. She's a blogger soon.
O yakında blog yazarı.
Can you increase? Can it be increased incorrectly?
Yanlış arttırılabilir mi?
Can't he read every day? Can't you read every day? Can you appear? Can you appear?
Görünebilir misin?
Not the immediate operator. Not the immediate operator.
Hemen operatör değil.
Rarely did he become an economist. Rarely did he become an economist.
Nadiren ekonomist olmadı.
It should increase by 1 afternoon. It should be after 1 pair.
Bir çift olduktan sonra olması gerekir.
We play next year. We play next year.
Seneye oynarız.
His brother was a baker. His brother was a baker.
Kardeş fırıncıydı.
Should he write? Should he write?
Yazmalı mı?
I do not exclude. External pull.
Dış çekme.
I can be an illustrator. I can be an illustrator.
İllüstratör olabilirim.
His colleague is a lieutenant. His colleague is a lieutenant.
Meslektaşı teğmendir.
Was his brother-in-law a boxer? Was her brother-in-law a librarian?
Kayınbiraderi kitapör müydü?
Does it every year? Is it every year?
Her yıl mı yer alıyor?
Should not travel. Should not travel.
Seyahat etmemelidir.
Isn't he a Tyler at 3 o'clock at midnight? Isn't he a Tyler at 3 o'clock at midnight?
Gece yarısı 3'te kiremitçi değil mi?
He didn't become a journeyman 5 years ago. They didn't become journeymen 5 years ago.
5 yıl önce kalfalık yapmadılar.
A physiologist a century later, right? A physiologist a century later, right?
Bir asır sonra fizyolog değil mi?
I would not specify. I would not specify.
Belirtmezdim.
Wasn't I a housewife next year? Doesn't housewife spread next year?
Seneye ev hanımı yayılmıyor mu?
Your granddaughter is the photographer. With your grandson.
Torunun yanında.
Can you garden at noon? Can you garden at noon?
Öğle vakti bahçıvanlık yapabilir misin?
Are they commanding after 4 centuries? Are they commanding after 4 centuries?
4 asır sonra mı komuta ediyorlar?
My neighbor is a barber. My neighbor is a barber.
Komşum berber.
We won't be babysitters every week. We welcome caregivers every week.
Her hafta bakıcıları bekleriz.
Couldn't he be a poet then? Couldn't he be a poet then?
O zaman şair olamaz mı?
Didn't it start? Didn't it start?
Başlamadı mı?
Shouldn't he be watching? Shouldn't he be watching?
İzlemesi gerekmez mi?
He didn't start. He didn't start.
O başlamadı.
His father was a librarian. The heir was the library.
Mirasçı kütüphaneydi.
May not push. May not push.
İtmeyebilir.
Can I evaluate? Can I evaluate?
Değerlendirebilir miyim?
Would he borrow monthly? Does he borrow monthly?
Aylık borç alır mı?
You choose after 3 days. You are under arrest after 3 days.
3 gün sonra tutuklusunuz.
Her brother-in-law is a lawyer. Her brother-in-law is a lawyer.
Kayınbiraderi avukattır.
Can it renew sometimes? Can it renew sometimes?
Bazen yenileyebilir mi?
Will it not produce? Will it not produce?
Üretmeyecek mi?
Friend stewardess. Friend stewardess.
Arkadaşı hostes.
Can't we sit for 2 p.m.? Can't we sit after 2 people?
2 kişiden sonra oturamaz mıyız?
Your uncle was a courier. Your uncle was a courier.
Amcan kuryeydi.
Is her stepbrother a ranger? Is her stepbrother a ranger?
Üvey kardeşi korucu mu?
Didn't we check? Didn't we check?
Kontrol etmedik mi?
He should not be a leading actor after midnight. He should not be a leading actor after midnight.
Gece yarısından sonra başrol oyuncusu olmamalıdır.
Was your son a shipper? Is your son the shipping cage?
Oğlunuz nakliyeci kafesi.
Rarely should be an anthropologist. Sometimes anthropologists do.
Bazen antropologlar çıkar.
Our cousins were guides. Our cousins were guides.
Kuzenlerimiz rehberdi.
Did I become a foreman? Did I become a foreman?
Ustabaşı oldum mu?
Was our grandmother the owner? Our grandmother is the host?
Büyükannemiz ev sahibi.
You're going to be a weekly athlete. You're going to be a weekly athlete.
Haftalık atlet yapacaksın.
His stepdaughter was a bounty hunter. His stepdaughter was a bounty hunter.
Üvey kızı kelle avcısıydı.
May be interested. May be interested.
İlgi duyabilir.
Can he play? Can I play?
Oynayabilir miyim?
His neighbor was an esthetician. His neighbor was an esthetician.
Komşusu estetisyendi.
Can they watch? Can they watch?
İzleyebilirler mi?
After 2 weeks we may not be long sailors. After 2 weeks we may not be long sailors.
2 hafta sonra uzun denizci olamayabiliriz.
You shouldn't do pottery next year. You shouldn't do pottery next year.
Gelecek yıl çömlekçilik yapmamalısın.
Can't you start sometimes? Sometimes you can't start?
Bazen başlayamazsın.
Should they be archaeologists? Should they be archaeologists?
Arkeolog olmalılar mı?
I'm not a consultant for 10 years. Consultant year? My relatives do. My relatives do.
Akrabalarım hakim.
My brother was a diver. My brother was a diver.
Erkek kardeşim dalgıçtı.
Then it doesn't act like 4 in the morning. Then it doesn't act like 4 in the morning.
Daha sonra sabah 4 gibi davranmıyor.
Can't they close after 2 days? Can't they close after 2 days?
2 gün sonra kapatamazlar mı?
Could not be organized weekly. Could not be organized weekly.
Haftalık organize olamıyordu.
Was his wife a writer? Wife author referral?
Eşi yazar yönlendirme.
Does not share. Does not share.
Paylaşmaz.
I can't hurt. I can't hurt.
Yaralayamam.
Did I call 10 years? Decade meeting?
10 yılı toplantısı mı?
Is her neighbor a pianist? Is her neighbor a pianist?
Komşusu piyanist mi?
Did I reconcile then? Did I reconcile then?
Barıştım mı o zaman?
They would not connect. They would not connect.
Bağlanmayacaklardı.
Sometimes they can decrease. Sometimes lips.
Bazen dudaklar.
Is his half-brother a golfer? Is his half-brother a golfer?
Üvey kardeşi golfçü mü?
They must be plumbers. They must be plumbers.
Tesisatçı olmalılar.
Can we stop? Can we stop?
Durabilir miyiz?
Your nephew is rower. Your nephew is rower.
Yeğenin kürekçi.
You weren't a window cleaner every month. It wasn't a window cleaner every month.
Her ay pencere temizleyicisi değildi.
I am an intensive care specialist every day. I am an intensive care specialist every day.
Her gün yoğun bakım uzmanıyım.
Did not do the hematologist every week. Week did not become a hematologist.
Haftası hematolog olmadı.
Your daughter is a statistician. Your daughter is a statistician.
Kızınız istatistikçi.
Can't we be judges in 4 weeks? Can't we be judges in 4 weeks?
4 hafta sonra yargıç olamaz mıyız?
Your friend is the installer. Friend's tools.
Arkadaşın araçları.
His grandson is a poet. His grandson is a poet.
Torunu şairdir.
Can't they kill at sunrise? Can't they kill at sunrise?
Gün doğarken öldüremezler mi?
Should he answer? Should he answer?
Cevap vermeli mi?
Our relatives are founders. Our relatives are founders.
Akrabalarımız kurucudur.
Shouldn't you normally open it? Don't you need to open it personally?
Kişisel olarak açman gerekmiyor mu?
We can vote now. You can vote now.
Hemen oy kullanabilirsiniz.
Couldn't he come in? Can't enter?
Giremez.
We may not be vice presidents often. We may not be vice presidents often.
Sık sık başkan yardımcısı olmayabiliriz.
Were their husbands stylists? Stylist neutering husbands?
Kocaları stilist kısırlaştırma.
Are they threatened now? Are they threatened now?
Şimdi tehdit mi ettiler?
Are we monthly? Did we set it monthly?
Aylak mı ayarladık?
Can't train after 5 days? Am I in charge of training after 5 days?
5 gün sonra antrenman sorumlusu muyum?
Can't make a weekly cream? Can't make a weekly cream?
Haftalık krem yapamaz mı?
A physiologist a century later, right? A physiologist a century later, right?
Bir asır sonra fizyolog değil mi?
Will not benefit at dawn. Will not benefit at dawn.
Şafakta fayda görmeyecek.
Do you rarely become a director? Do you rarely get settled?
Nadiren yerleşimi olur musun?
Can he remember later at 5 a.m.? Can I remember later at 5 a.m.?
Daha sonra gece yarısı 5'te hatırlayabilir miyim?
Can't he read every day? Can't you read every day?
Her gün okuyamazsın mı?
Should you buy the assistant soon? Should you buy help soon?
Yakında yardımcı satın almalısınız.
Should not do internship after 1 day. Should not do internship after 1 day.
Bir gün sonra staj yapmamalıdır.
He wrote at noon. He wrote at noon.
Öğle vakti yazardı.
Should I dive right now? Should I dive right now?
Hemen dalmalı mıyım?
Your nephew's caretaker. Niece's caretaker.
Yeğenin bakıcısı.
Is he caught? Is he caught?
Yakalanıyor mu?
Your kids are technicians. Your kids are technicians.
Çocuklarınız teknisyen.
Should he become a consultant now? Should he become a consultant now?
Hemen danışman mı olmalı?
I was put. I was put.
Konuldum.
Will you be an actor? Will you be an actor?
Oyuncu olacak mısın?
Their son is a naturalist. Their son is a naturalist.
Oğulları doğa bilimcidir.
Should they be fed? Should they be fed?
Beslenmeliler mi?
Will I not hate? Shouldn't we hate?
Nefret etmeyelim mi?
His brother-in-law was the attorney. His brother-in-law was the attorney.
Kayınbiraderi vekildi.
Our friend is the manager. Our friend is the manager.
Arkadaşımız müdürü.
Encouraged. Encouraged.
Teşvik etti.
Can't you draw? Can't draw wrong.
Yanlış çizemez mi?
Neighbor designer. Neighbor guest.
Komşusu misafiri.
Wasn't she the receptionist every year? Isn't the receptionist invited every year?
Her yıl resepsiyonist davet değil mi?
Won't you promise? Don't promise wrong.
Söz vermez yanlış.
Our relatives are founders. Our relatives are founders.
Akrabalarımız kurucudur.
Does it have to calculate 2 weeks? Does it have to calculate 2 weeks?
2 haftayı hesaplamak zorunda mı?
Can I have it in a day? Can I have it in a day?
Bir gün sonra alabilir miyim?
Were their children librarians? Kids librarian password?
Çocukları kütüphaneci şifresi.
Won't we be done? Won't we be done?
Sonuçlanmaz mıyız?
We weren't journalists then. We weren't journalists then.
Biz o zaman gazeteci değildik.
Wouldn't it help? Doesn't it help?
Yardım etmez mi?
Are relatives hairdressers? Are relatives hairdressers?
Akrabaları kuaför mü?
Will he listen? Will he listen?
Dinleyecek mi?
Previously associated. Previously imprisoned.
Daha önce hapsedildi.
He can box every week. It could be his weekly books.
Onun haftalık kitapları olabilir.
Can't we accept weekly? Can we accept weekly?
Haftalık kabul edebilir miyiz?
Then they are followed. Then they are followed.
Sonra takip edilirler.
We'd handle it. We'd handle it.
Hallederdik.
Was not often an esthetician. Frequent esthetician training.
Sık sık estetisyen eğitimi.
Are his stepsisters fishermen? The step fishermen?
Üvey balıkçı mı?
Can go to bed after a month. Can go to bed after a month.
Bir ay sonra yatabilir.
Doesn't it hold? Doesn't it hold?
Tutmuyor mu?
Should I be bartending after 5 nights? Do I have to be a bartender after 5 nights?
5 gece sonra barmenlik yapmak zorunda mıyım?
They are night watchmen at dusk. They are night watchmen at dusk.
Alacakaranlıkta gece bekçileridir.
Can't be washed every year? Can't be washed every year?
Her yıl yıkanamaz mı?
I'm waiting weekly. I'm waiting weekly.
Haftalık bekliyorum.
Couldn't add? Can't add?
Ekleyemiyor musunuz?
Is your daughter a docker? Is your daughter a docker?
Kızınız liman işçisi mi?
His stepson was a sculptor. His stepson was a sculptor.
Üvey oğlu heykeltıraştı.
We do not experience. You have no experience.
Tecrübeniz yok.
Couldn't he focus? Can't focus?
Odaklanamıyor musunuz?
They cannot mark 1 year later. They cannot mark 1 year later.
Bir yıl sonrasını işaretleyemezler.
Can't affect. Can't affect.
Etkileyemez mi?
Is her grandmother an acrobat? Is her grandmother an acrobat?
Büyükannesi akrobat mı?
My stepson was an operator. Was the step operator.
Üvey operatördü.
Neighbor hematologist. Neighbor hematologist.
Komşusu hematolog.
I may not be a representative last year. I won't be able to represent last year.
Geçen yıl temsilci olamayacağım.
Why not monthly? Why not monthly?
Aylık neden olamaz mı?
You learn often. You learn often.
Sık sık öğrenirsin.
They want it right away. Can act immediately.
Hemen harekete geçebilir.
Can be a consultant every day. He can be a consultant every day.
Her gün danışmanı olabilir.
Shouldn't it stop 10 years? Shouldn't it stop 10 years?
10 yılı durdurmamalı mı?
Is her husband a priest? Is it my husband?
Kocası bende mi?
Shouldn't they be given a job? Shouldn't they be hired?
İş vermeleri gerekmez mi?
One day later it would not match. He would not come a day later.
Bir gün sonra gelmeyecekti.
Should not exist. It must be drunk.
İçilmesi gerekir.
I should not create. I should not create.
Yaratmamalıyım.
Didn't you place it 1 week ago? Didn't you place it 1 week ago?
Bir hafta önce yerleştirmedin mi?
Do you rarely need to lock? Do you rarely need to lock?
Nadiren kilitlemeniz gerekmiyor mu?
Are we usually race car drivers? Are we usually race car drivers?
Biz genellikle yarış arabası sürücüsü müyüz?
Should carry. Should carry.
Taşımalıdır.
You lie down at midnight later at 2 a.m. Don't explain later at 2 a.m. at midnight.
Gece yarısı daha sonra 2'de açıklamasın.
They are usually not attractive. They are usually not attractive.
Genellikle cezbetmezler.
Was our stepsister a businesswoman? Is our stepsister a business manager?
Üvey kız kardeşimiz iş yöneticisi mi?
Could not appear. Could not appear. Hadn't he grown? Immature interesting?
Büyümemiş enteresan.
I have to answer. I have to answer.
Cevap vermeliyim.
Shouldn't it roll? Shouldn't it roll?
Yuvarlanmamalı mı?
Was I set? Could I set it?
Ayarlayabildim mi?
Doesn't it create? To create?
Yaratmak mı?
May not roll. May not roll.
Yuvarlanmayabilir.
Are they burned? Are they burned?
Yanmışlar mı?
His uncle was a trainer. His uncle was a trainer.
Amcası antrenördü.
Should we never commit clowns? Should we never commit clowns?
Asla soytarılık yapmamalı mıyız?
Will not use. Will not use.
Kullanmayacak.
Was my family reporters? My family reporter?
Ailem muhabiri.
Didn't he go to jail often? Didn't he go to jail often?
Sık sık hapse girmedi mi?
Can we sleep now? Can we sleep now?
Hemen uyuyabilir miyiz?
Doesn't he look at the sunset? Doesn't he look at the sunset?
Gün batımına bakmıyor mu?